far future, I mean the immediate futures, Iran's economic and political relations gradually, slowly, and steadily is moving to the Eurasian and Asian powers because of the negative experience of the JCPOA. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kiani. And it's very strange that the first time I heard this policy of looking to the east, Siyasat Nagah be-Sharq, was about 15 years ago when Dr. Nasser Sagafi wrote a book on it in Farsi. I remember I have the book. So thank you very much. This is an evolving policy and a long-standing policy. And now let's turn to I think to our next speaker, to the Arabic participant, Dr. Bassam. Dr. Bassam Abu Abdullah in Syria. And let's see the Arabic version of the future.
You can stay there.
You can sit there. You can sit there.
Okay. There is no. Okay, thank you very much again. What is the evaluation of the forthcoming situation in the Middle East and the West Asia? I will concentrate on Syria, just to give you an idea what is the forthcoming evaluation of the forthcoming situations. But then we can understand what is surrounding Syria, the position of Russia, Turkey, or Iran, and the future of Syria. First of all, I believe that Syria is going to stability, more stability. I am living in Damascus. Now I am comparing between 2 years, 3 years ago, and now I'm moving from Damascus. It's stable to Homs, to Latakia, to Tartus, so it's, and now I hope that the northeast of Syria. Why I am confirming that Syria is going to stability? Because most of the Syrian people, it doesn't matter where their political position, they are more convinced that there is no solution without state, and the protector of the all Syrian, this is the Syrian Arab. There is no other option. And they discovered that after years of living under the different non-state actor, like in East Ghouta, like in Idlib, like in where is the YPG and PKK, etc. So there is no way without law, without state, and without army. But this is very important. Because of that, I am talking that the most of the Syria is supporting and want to see stability. And the people, this is the main factor to support the state. The third factor that the Syrian be convinced, most of them, that the foreign actors, especially who was against Syria, that they are not charity organization and they are every state working for its interests. Especially here, I don't know, Dr. Akan, when I am talking, he is leaving I don't know. I want to, from him to listen me very well, because when he talked about Turkey, we thought, everyone in this hall, that Turkey is a victim and we're a killer of Turkey. The Turks did not recognize until now that this is the result of their former foreign policy. And Turkey was the passage of thousands of tourists. They know that. We have a lot of documents, not only with us, with the European, with the American. And Turkey was a part or in alliance with Saudi Arabia, with Qatar, with the United States, France, Britain, in the same intelligence room where they controlled a lot of terrorist organizations. So we should recognize that. Turkey should recognize what's going on now. It's not because Turkey protecting its national security, because Turkey had a wrong foreign policy, Not I am talking most of Turks now, they are recognizing that, including the main political parties. The only way to exit from this situation, not to cry on the national security of Turkey, but to find a solution with the Syrian state. We considering until now that the Turkish army in Syria is aggressor, and they are aggression, and they have no right to control any part of the Syrian territory. We will see. Russia is talking now about a security meeting between Syria and Turkey in Sochi next week, I don't know, after 10 days. And we hope that everything will be fine. Why I am talking that? Because in 2010 and before, when the relations between Syria and Turkey was in a golden age between, I have been a diplomat in Turkey for 4 years, I know that. In that time, the borders was quite very good, because Syria and Turkey had a mutual committees in military and security levels, and they solved all problems, because problems of borders or national security could not be solved by Turkey alone or by Syria alone. It needs a more coordination and more cooperation between two states, because we are speaking about 900 kilometers, more than 900 kilometers between Syria and Turkey. So it's the second point which I want to mention. Okay, YPG and PKK is a terrorist organization, but what about Al-Qaeda in Italy? They are terrorists. So we cannot call these people, these groups, as a terrorist, while Al-Qaeda is not terrorist, they are a national Syrian army. So you cannot use terminology or whatever you want. Double standards is not acceptable. So I want from everyone. The third question, for Syrian refugees in Turkey. Sometimes talking about 3.5 million, sometimes 4 million, sometimes we don't know exact numbers, because I should tell everyone that any Syrian entering Jordan, Lebanon, or Turkey, they consider him as a refugee. Anyone, either land, because at that time was money from a international organization, and it's a good business for our states to take money on the shoulders of the Syrian. While now is many decreasing, including President Erdogan, when every time warning the EU, he will say, I will send refugees to Europe. So there are people, or there are cards in your hands, or you are protecting them, as you are saying. So these cards is not acceptable to talk about refugees every day and to show us that they are human while we are criminal in Syria, while in Turkey they are prophets towards Syrians. Syrians, they are our citizens. Syria is open. When the war is finishing, I think most of the Syrians want to return to Syria. The first point is that the Committee of Discussion Constitution, which I think Mr. Peterson, he has been just in Damascus, it will take more time to discuss. It's not easy work. But at the end of the day, the Syrian government and Syrian people will not accept any kind of interfering or enforcing any agenda. This is the honor of this committee is the Syrians, and they will work for their constitution, starting from discussing the constitution of 2012. We will see in the forthcoming days, months, more normalization of relations with Syria from the Arab states. Now under the table there are a lot of contacts, some of them secret, some of them they are telling us that we love you and we make a big wrong with Syria, but we are not now, we cannot do a direct contact because of the American. So when Trump giving them a green line, you will see them going to Damascus. So there is competition now between the Saudi Emirates line in and between the Turkish Qatari line in the region to towards Syria. And for Syria, it doesn't matter. We are not in competition between two lines. In Syria, they should recognize what they made in Syria, and to return Syria to Arab League, it doesn't matter. We are not interested a lot. The Arab League should return to Syria because after Syria, the Arab League is now a dead body. Nobody respects this league. So we want to return this league to a minimum coordination between the Arab states. Why? Because all wars on the Arab lands, we are feeling. The wars now in Yemen, in Libya, in Syria, and everywhere. So we should, at the end of the day, understand our interest where, how we will deal. This is first. Secondly, there is no Arabs against Iranian or no Arabs against Turkish. We should integrate it between each other in the region. We are not ready to be into axes in the region. I think Syria is looking for, either Syria historically was a bridge between Iran and the Gulf states. So we should change our mentality, either the Arab states or the Arab League. We cannot continue by this. We should change a lot of principles of the Arab League and the Arab relations, because we cannot again go to the disorder, the chaos in the region was not benefit for anyone, especially in Syria or in Iraq or in Yemen. Yes, 2 minutes. You will see that the Syrian society is more opening. You will see more dialogue in Syrian society. You will see political life in Syria is changing a lot in the near future, not because we want to show or to take certificate from EU or from the West, because we feel that we need more dialogue in our society. Absolutely, the Russian role, I talked about it. The Russian interest is not tactical. The Russian interest in Syria is a strategic one, because Syria is important for Russia, not for Mediterranean, but for many things, including the role of Syria in showing the real Islam. Now there is a very deep cooperation between our religious leaders and Russia. I should mention the Indian role. Nobody talked about that, but for Syria, we are noticing that India is very active in Syria, and they are afraid of the extremism in India. So I think we will see that the economic situation will be better next year for Syria after returning the oil resources in Syria and a lot of resources of Syria. The last points that I will affirm to you, all my friends, and we will see each other. President Assad will win the elections in 2021. If the West want that or don't want that, I will affirm to you, because there is something logical. No president can stay 9 years or 10 years without support of his people. Thank you very much.